Hola amigos y familia, welcome to Lara Land. I'm going to have a little chat with you and update you on the situation on the second wave of COVID, or the global pandemic here in Panama. And then I've got some surfing, some monkeys and cocktail of the week to end the video this week. So the second wave appears to have peaked. At least the percentage of positive test results from the number of tests done each day is down from over 30% to about 13%, so that's really positive. It hasn't yet flowed through to the number of people in ICU and hospital declining. The number of people in ICU is pretty close to 250, which is nearing capacity, I believe. I don't know because I'm not sure how many beds are available in ICU in the country. The number of people in hospital is about 2,400, is that about right? Yeah. So that's worryingly high, but with the percentage of positive results coming down, we should start to see those numbers come down as well in the next couple of weeks. So I think the second wave has peaked. Regarding restrictions on movement of people here in Panama City and Panama Oeste, that's the area west of Panama City as far as Coronado, they still have gender separated shopping days. So if you want to go to the supermarket or the pharmacy or the hardware store, which is pretty much all that's open, I think, then you need to go on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays for women, Tuesdays, Thursdays for men. They still have full quarantine every weekend in that part of the country, and they have a curfew. For the rest of us, we just have a curfew from 9 PM to 4 AM, and weekends, everything that can be open is open. When I say everything that can be open, I mean everything that survived the lockdowns. There's a lot of places that appear to be, for the moment anyway, permanently closed. There are a lot of places that are open. There are plenty of restaurants to dine out at, and because there aren't very many international tourists here in Bocas del Toro at the moment, the place just isn't very crowded. We've been dining out at a few open air restaurants like over the water, and it feels perfectly safe. They have a limited capacity according to the new rules from MINSA, the Health Ministry of Panama. Everyone's wearing masks when you go to and from. Obviously you take it off to eat and drink. You get up and walk around, you put your mask on. Well, those are the rules, but sadly not everyone's following the rules, which is annoying, but you get that. Beaches are open, surfing is okay here in Bocas. We've been doing a lot of that. The last 8 days, I think Caesar surfed 7 out of 8 days. That's fantastic. Two or three of those days I didn't surf because the waves were quite big, so he surfed Point Reef, which is a really challenging wave. And the other day when he was out there, he said there was a good 5-foot wave that came through. It was pretty solid, like 2 to 4 foot overhead. That's too big for me. Technically I could do it because there's no duck diving, it's easy to get out in the channel. I just am intimidated by that size of wave. I don't want to be wiped out on that reef by a big wave with my longboard. And those waves at Paunch can jack up quite steep and they're very fast. I have been surfing quite a lot of black rock, which I really like, and some video to follow. It's a relatively easy longboard wave, although I have had a couple of instances where on a bigger wave it's jacked up really steep and suddenly I've found there's nothing below me. I've tried to do the turn on the top of the wave, didn't manage to pull it off. Those 2 times I got munched, but it's quite deep there, so I didn't get smashed on the reef or anything, so that's fine. You know, so long as I don't collide with my board, I'm going to keep going. The other day we were out at Black Rock, there was the odd 4-foot wave that came through, and I'm finding that because we haven't been surfing very much because 2020 and lockdown and beaches closed and got stuck in Panama City for 5 months, I'm not quite comfortable with a 4-foot wave at the moment. That is my limit anyway. I hope that because Black Rock is a relatively easy break and I'm going to start to get used to it, that I'm going to get quite comfortable on 4-foot waves out there. It's got a nice channel either side of the peak, so I'm just practicing finishing my wave well, kicking out, sitting on the board rather than trying to flop off, and immediately paddling back into the channel so that I'm out of danger if a bigger wave comes through behind me. So I think in a few weeks maybe I'll be surfing bigger waves. That would be nice. Okay, what else? Bocas del Toro, yeah, we love it. I think we found our spot in Panama. I think Panama is a land of butterflies and beautiful birds. And the house we're living in has a troop of monkeys that comes through on the regular. And they're awesome. I love the howler monkeys. Even at 5:30 a.m. when they go off, I'm like, they wake me up and I just go back to sleep and I feel kind of comforted. It's a nice sound. It's not like dogs barking, which is annoying, and I can't go back to sleep with that, but the howler monkeys are lovely. Sitting here in my little office, they come through the trees right there. They're like 3 or 4 meters away from us. They're right there and it's so distracting. And then there's hummingbirds everywhere right there. Seriously distracting, but just so beautiful. I really love Panama and I love Bocas del Toro. It rains here every day. There's no dry season here in Bocas, and it's a little bit cooler than much of the rest of the country. Coronado I found was really hot. Panama City, very hot and humid, particularly in the rainy season. But here in Bocas, it's cooler and it rains every day, and that means that everything is green and lush and just bursting with life and colour, and I love it. Okay, that's enough of me yabbering at you. Here's some more interesting things to follow. This is what's out my window. The monkeys come through from those trees and they come across through a branch in this tree here, and then they go over to that big tree over there and they'll hang out there for a day or so, just hanging out, doing their monkey business. Isn't that awesome? This week's cocktail of the week I'm going to call a tropical dream, and again I'm trying to make something that is using the local fresh ingredients that we can find here in Bocas del Toro, and something that has a really tropical flavour. So, okay, so I've got a pineapple that I ninjaed. I've got some maracuya, so I've got a piña maracuya, which is passion fruit, lima, which is lime, I'm juicing that. I've got some grenadine, some Malibu, and some Caribbean dark rum. So I'm going to start by a half a maracuya. Just dump it into a glass. I'm not really measuring this, I'm just going to give it 2 or 3 big spoons of pureed pineapple, 1 shot of lime juice, and because the maracuya and the pineapple are kind of a little bit tart. It's only the bottom of the pineapple that's sweet, and when you puree the whole thing, it's not actually that sweet. So I'm going to add a little bit of agave, and then I'm going to mix that all up together. A shot of Malibu. Now we get the coconut flavour. So we've got the lime, the coconut, the pineapple, the passion fruit, a shot of nice dark Caribbean rum. Charge it with a bit of soda, give it a stir, and then to finish it off, this is the bit that makes it really nice, a little half shot of grenadine. Just pour it over the top and let it soak down to the bottom. And there we have it, a nice tropical dream. It's so good.